I'm going to go into two topics first. The first one is comparison. So obviously this connects with this idea of wanting to be right, wanting to be the winner, wanting to be the correct one in the situation, so your reality is boosted. Why do we compare ourselves with others so much? Does anyone have an answer to that?
It's just the way it is. There's so many people that you just can't help but like TV, social media, all that type of stuff. People, I was talking to somebody and he was dating somebody that was substantially younger than he was, and he was like, she just can't disconnect. Like all the time she's on the phone, like looking at Facebook or talking with people, or I think it's just the situation we're kind of in society right now.
So I think it's a balance of two things. I think the first thing is definitely that we're bombarded with others everywhere, right? You see so many others, you see it on media, you go on social media, everything is constantly there, and you're constantly bombarded with others. Their successes, their failures, their likes, their dislikes. So constantly you're getting influenced by this. That's definitely one part. However, the other side of it is the only reason you're really comparing is because you're looking to find a place in this. You're looking to see where you land on the totem pole. You're looking to see where you lie versus somebody else. Because without that, you have no identity. Without having a title, a job title, without having a rank, without having a position on the leaderboard, it's hard to see where you've come, where you're at, where you need to go, right? Of course, because we're not totally in tune with ourselves. If we were constantly in tune with ourselves, there'd be no need for comparison in the sense of, you know, this person's here, I want what they have, I need to get what they have. Oh no, today I'm feeling this and I want what they have. And you're constantly going back and forth, right? Because you're not in tune with what you truly want. You're not in tune with this consistent flow of, I'm focused on this, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to continue on this, and that's all that I need. No matter what they're doing or they're not doing, it doesn't influence me because I'm so focused, I'm so in my own world, kind of, right? I always bring up the idea of being in your own reality, and I always use the concept of Lil Wayne. I don't know why I use that. I don't think it's a great example, not a positive example at least. But he's a typical example of someone who's so in his own world that he's not caring about anything else. He can go anywhere, be whoever out, as whatever he wants, he's constantly influencing. He may be under the influence, but he's influencing, right? Constantly. So that idea of being in your own world, a lot of people, not just him, a lot of people in that type of celebrity mindset are constantly in that world where they're constantly influencing and they're not getting influenced. So, you know, where does this really come from? Obviously this idea of having to have some sort of, you know, egoic nature about yourself. So a lot of people attribute ego to having some sort of like, you know, macho-ness about them. And that's not really the definition of ego. Ego is just everything that's not you. So you've placed, you know, your material possessions, your achievements, your job title, your rankings, your certifications, your education, all as you. This is me. And if I lost this, I'm no longer, what am I? Right? But of course, you know, when we get into this idea of mirror image reality, right? We've been talking about this a lot. So everything that I experience out here is just a mirror of me. So when I don't like this person, I don't like parts of myself. When I like this, I like parts of myself. This idea, if you're more than just here, right? If everything is you, and not in this airy-fairy mindset of like, I am the universe and everything is me, right? Because spiritual people get into that a lot, right? And that's definitely it. That's definitely the case. However, that doesn't make any sense to most people. What makes sense is that when I attribute something I don't like to somebody else, that's something that I'm not wanting to look at about myself. So that's the connection I see, that I'm more than just here. I'm more than this character, I'm more than this body, I'm more than everything I've accumulated here. I'm more than that. Because if I wasn't more than that, then as soon as I lose my car, I lose my certification, whatever, I've lost a part of myself, and I'm lower, right? I've lost more. It doesn't make any sense. It can't make any sense, right? So now if we get into this idea of comparison, we look at celebrity making millions of dollars a year and we say they're higher than us, right? So now, to feel important, there must be people that are lower than us as well, right? We view them as higher, there must be people that are lower. So when we see the homeless man, when we see the uneducated person, we see the poor person. I used to work at Walmart, everyone was like that, right? They think you walk in and all of a sudden like you're nobody, right? So you see these people and now they're lower than you because it's giving you some sense of identity. I must be higher, I've done more in my life, etc. But clearly this is the issue, because if you have this issue, you're going to have this issue. But if you solve this issue and you say, no longer I'm going to look at anyone below me, all of a sudden when you see these celebrities, it's not this extravagant craziness, it's just I see them as they are. I see them as a person doing great things, but it's not anything more than what I can do. I just need to realize more of it myself. And that's really the key here, obviously. This idea, we have this phrase around here, awaken your potential, right? Awaken your potential being. We all have a latent potential that's within us. So accessing this potential, realizing more about this potential is the only real key. Someone who's done more in their life has only realized more of the principles which we talk about all the time. Discipline, self-control, focus, love, compassion, all these things. They've realized more of that. In some sense, not always. Because monetary success, don't always attribute monetary success to principle living. Please. So that would be one thing. But then of course when we see the person that is lower than us, we still see them as equal because they've just maybe not realized enough. They've not been in the right environment. They've not had the opportunity that you had. Right? So having the gratitude of where you're at in your life. This constant comparison always comes from a lack of gratitude to where you're at. But if we just realize that we're all sitting in this room right now, right? We're sitting here, we're listening to Corey talk or whatever, meditating. There's nowhere else we should be. Because you're here and that's the reality, right? So in this idea of you looking at someone else and saying, well, I'm 25, they're 22, they're more successful. Oh, I've wasted my time. Right? But you're here now, you're sitting on the computer watching this person, so that's exactly where you need to be because that's the reality. Constantly we get taken in these illusionary fantasies of, I should have done this, I should have been here, I should go do this, but that's not where you are. So it doesn't even matter. So comparison is of course there's another side of the coin. Like I'm comparing myself to somebody, I'm getting inspired by them, I'm getting motivated by them. That's a good thing. That's a positive nature of how you can use comparison to aid you in your journey. But of course, we're all looking for the 7 steps to enlightenment, 7 steps to weight loss, blah, blah, blah. So this idea of external motivation, external inspiration can only help to guide you back here until you can cultivate it yourself. It can't be a reliance. Because as soon as it's a reliance, then it's just as bad as you comparing and then being jealous. Or something of that nature, right? So comparison is a beautiful thing, and the reason why I was catching myself doing this the other day on social media, exactly, and seeing the bombardment of all these other people doing these things, and I'm like, oh, I got to work faster, I got to do this. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing right now, right? And then we all do this. We all do this.
Right. Sorry, that's one piece of it, though. I think the other piece of it is when people judge you. Right, so for example, like the woman who went to the beach and she had like babies and her belly was whatever, and it's like she wasn't comparing herself to others.
What was that, sorry?
There was a woman who went and she wore a bikini and was like
stretch marks.
Berated because, oh my god, it's so disgusting, how could you ever do that, right?
Oh my god,
so like if she goes out and she's not comparing herself to others, but then the moment that lens is kind of switched and people are then judging her, they're kind of like...
How did she react to it?
Yeah.
How did she react to it? She wrote like an open letter.
She wrote an open letter and it went viral, and then a whole people basically said like she was being judged without the fact that people knew her story. Like she has 3 beautiful children. She's not ashamed of her body. She went to the beach to enjoy herself, and she was judged based on her appearance. And she's just like, I'm in my 30s. You don't know what you're gonna look like in your 30s. So why is it that people feel they can?
And I think
judge?
she had like a fairly positive reaction, right? But often it's like, how do you deflect that?
Well,
it's one thing to like block out the noise, but it's another thing when people are judging you. You then start to compare.
Remember what we talked about? I think it wasn't last class, it was the week before, when we said if you're reactive to these things, it will keep coming, right? So when you're a child in the playground and the bully's bullying you and your mom's saying don't react, because they just want you to react, and then you start not reacting, all of a sudden the bullying goes away, right? So I think that's the simple answer. The more complex answer would be if we all just focus on not comparing. So if I do it, and then you do it, and then you do it, and then you do it, and then we all do it, and then Steph's the last person still being jealous of me and comparing, and then finally she does it, and then we're good. Then we're good, right? So I think it's just like focus here. That would be the, I guess, other simple answer, right? So the reactivity, as soon as you're not reactive, it goes away. If you just focus on yourself, it will also go away, both times, right? But that was a good